Namaste angels. I randomly got in the mood to record my Leo new moon reading, so I'm going to try to do that on my iPhone, and we'll see how it goes. So far so good, at least with regard to the cards that I'm using and that I've been guided to use, and that I am beginning with as a result of, shuffling a few times. Reconciliation, which for this reading, won't be just about romantic reconciliations. It can be friends, mending relationships, familial relationships being healed, and or romantic relationships and partnerships having some sort of reconciliation. But I'm also feeling that even when we reconcile, for everybody, it's not going to mean that we're like getting back together, especially on the romantic front. People can heal those relationships but still decide that it's best that they not be together, is something that I got. Also, this is very cool. The King of Spring, which in this deck is in fact a lion that looks like, King Leo, the lion. And there's a new moon in the picture, this crescent here. So I thought that was pretty cool that I was starting with this. The King of Spring, who is inspiring, dramatic, ambitious, and wise, right? It's a Katanga lion specifically in this picture, according to this. This is interesting too. So parental care was the one that I really ended up with on the top after several shuffles, but more than once I opened to sobriety. And if you look, it's like, these are very similar cards. All the cards in this deck are different. They're different butterflies, different flowers. So I just thought, oh, look at that. Wow. Look at that. I opened to yet another one of these same butterflies and flowers. How interesting. So the message that I got when I did it with these two, first, the parental care was, it could actually be us taking care of our parents or having some situation involving our parents or their legacy or, what they've left behind in some way, maybe something to which we are an heir. That being the case, we got to take care of, the home, what was left behind, or our actual parents, get them into assisted living or a senior facility, or get them out of something, move them with us, we're moving in with them, vice versa, all kinds of stuff like that. And then I also felt that it was not literal, not having to do with our parents. Actually, I felt this first and foremost, that it was about us, and it's more like self-care. And then I opened not to hobbies, but to sobriety, which we've seen a few times, and I think we should get used to seeing, like on these readings, with the moon readings in particular, when I use the butterfly cards, we see sobriety a lot. But it occurred to me today, I'm like, well, you know what, we should see it a lot because, for a year, we've been in this energy of Uranus and Taurus, and we're going to be there for another 7 years. So over that period, a lot of people are going to be facing issues of, literal sobriety and, disconnecting from some sort of substance, person, place, or thing that is addictive to them. And in general, we're going to be moving away from toxic people, places, and things, and healing ourselves. And that's what Uranus and Taurus is all about. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. But also, I was really focused on the fact that there were two butterflies here, and then all of a sudden, it was like, and then there was one, right? And I just felt that, again, it had to do with some of us becoming single or, separating, breaking up, and then that was a good thing. That was part of the reconciliation. It was positive. Maybe we'll start to focus on our own interests instead, hobbies, things that we like to do. This is more self-care. And then I shuffled the #creepy deck a few times and kept beginning with freedom. So this is also a very single energy, single, light, airy, right? And it doesn't have to mean single as in no way coupled or partnered. It can also mean that it's just about our individuality here and self-love and not being chained to any one particular person, place, or thing, in a toxic way. Just everything flowing very easily. This is very air sign, very air element, particularly Aquarius, of course, because that is the sign of freedom. Speaking of Uranus, I'm just talking about Uranus and Taurus. Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. So, that makes sense too as relates to the self-love. So I'm excited about all this. There's going to be other things that happen during the period of the 2 weeks over which this new moon covers. I forgot to make any kind of note of them, and I don't have I have my laptop, but I don't have it right now. My daughter has it, and I could have waited until I had it, but I just got into this, like I said, very random mood to do the reading now. So I just figured I'd go with the flow and not worry about that. But one very important thing that is happening the same day as this new moon in Leo is the fact that Mercury goes direct. Hallelujah, right? So I think that's enough for us to focus. And I'll talk about the other stuff, the rest of the transits that occur, the major transits, over the next 2 weeks in the general reading. So if you want to catch what my feelings and what I have to say about any of those transits, watch the general readings that I do. I usually put them up Friday or Saturday if you don't get notifications, because a lot of people don't from my channel. And thank you, by the way, since I brought that up, to those of you who did comment on any of my posts in that regard, the one that I had on YouTube or on my Facebook, IG, that you've experienced any kind of issue, particularly the one with the failure to be notified on my channel. I did forward those to YouTube as they asked. They're still asking me for more, so I will accept more if you guys, are still having problems. Anybody that hasn't commented on any one of those posts and wants to let me know the problems that you experience with my channel's features, I do appreciate it. I do appreciate you guys joining me, period. Everybody that's watching, thank you for joining, watching, sharing, subscribing, and all the many ways that you guys support me. We're going to begin with parental care in the butterfly deck. And wow, opening to that hobbies card again. Do you see what I experienced when you guys weren't watching? I just kept opening to the same card. It was, in this case, it's the hobbies. In the other case, when I was alone, it was the other card. It was the sobriety that I kept opening to opposite this parental care. So this can also be now something having to do with, again, either us as parents getting into stuff that makes us happy that we're doing alone. This can be about empty nest, syndrome and things too. Like, okay, now, we're moving into August. Kids are going to be going back to school. Some kids are going off to college. I know my youngest is. She's still going to live with me, but she's going to college, so there is going to be some separation. And it's like, what do I do with myself now? Hobbies, self-interests. But for some of us, it is that, a mate is leaving, or maybe changing their exercise program, the hours that they work or something. And then what do we do with ourselves? For some, literally, new exercise program as part of parental care. Parental care and dietary change. So we just saw exercise program and now dietary change. This is so, like I said, so very Uranus and Taurus, and self-love and self-care, self-discipline. Dietary change and healing from the past. Dietary change. I'm going to go ahead and cut. So that appears to be the overlying theme, at least from this spread. Be true to you. This too about self-love. Nice. After some more shuffling, overall energy is windfall. Divine being or couple. Recent past. Blocks to individual or shared progress. Masculine's higher self. The masculine would have the feminine. No, wrong. How the feminine can help herself with regard to blocks and issues. How the masculine can. Near future. What the universe would like to do to help us to help ourselves. What the universe wants to help us with, but we have to first affirm to it. Commit to it. And the outcome. Divine being or couple. Grief work. So this is going to have to do, I think, with what I began. You know, there's going to be some separations, leaving some people, places, and things behind, and a lot of us focusing more on ourselves as individuals, whether we remain coupled or partnered with, you know, friends, loved ones, romantic interests, or not. You know, there's going to be a lot of focus on self. So I think the grief work is this pulling away from the other things. It could be jobs. It could be, like I said, any kind of relationship. And there's like joy and sadness involved in all of those transitions. But remember, this is the new moons. This is about where we're getting new. It's leaving something old that no longer suits our purpose, our life purpose, our soul's purpose, and moving towards something new and something better. So in all cases, it should be maybe mixed feelings, but something better is to come. And we also have to keep in mind the overall energy. Again, it is windfall. So this is positive. Recent past. New exercise program. So we recently decided to exercise, maybe a new practice, a new principle. And it could be literally physical exercise also that we decided to get into. Maybe we've only recently began to exercise our rights and to exert ourselves and stand up for ourselves. That's coming through too. Masculine's higher self. Boom, self-care, told you. So he's totally aligned with the energy that he's picking up what I was putting down, and vice versa. Near future. So this is the recent past, the new exercise program. Near future. Keep the faith. And very similar colors in these two cards. It's not the exact same picture as in the other cards, but very similar colors with the butterflies and with the flowers. And so it's like we're leaving this energy behind, moving to this one. And the fact that we've made a change, it's like change is good, and although it can be scary. Don't allow yourself to be so overwhelmed by any of the fear that you begin to lose faith in how the outcome will be. Keep your thoughts positive. Blocks to individual or shared progress, including union, failing to move, failing to initiate, right? With this new exercise program, or, you know, to take the leap of faith. Keep the faith now. So take the next step now. Not taking the next step is a block to your overall progress. Not just in this one thing that you need to take a leap in. Overall, it is a block. But what the feminine can do to help herself, other than actually taking the leap, memories. This goes in with the grief work. And, you know, so it's not surprising that it's sitting here right underneath it. Because whatever you're leaving behind, again, it's going to bring these feelings, these sentiments of mixed joy and sadness. But you do have the memories. And those you can cherish and hold on to. You know, that's healthy. That's safe. So that'll help you to take the next step now, remembering that you're not, you know, giving up on this energy completely. You can take the positive thoughts and memories and lessons with you. You should. Not only can you, you should. what the masculine can do to help himself is family changes. You know, I also felt like I was saying I felt that people were going to be in them single. And, I felt that right away. I did feel it more so like for the masculine that there were going to be some families where the masculine was leaving, and that was why it was parental care. This is not just a single man or woman of the masculine persuasion, but this is a parent who is putting themselves and their heart and their future at the forefront right now, right? It's a priority. They're prioritizing themselves. That is going to lead to some sort of family changes where we're not living in the same home anymore, or maybe we're not even living in the same city or state anymore. There's an actual move, or we're just not doing some of the things. It's a new exercise program, mommy picks you up and daddy drops you off. That we're doing things differently now because he's in this self-care mode. So this is not a mistake either, of course, that the masculine's higher self is the one focused on self-care. And there's been a lot of those cases. I talk to clients all the time. And the whole time that I've been doing this, in the 3 years that I've been doing this, I've spoken to a lot of people where the masculine just feel, and particularly a male, a father, just feels really, really stuck. And, let's just keep it real and honest, often just becomes a cheater, really, rather than leave, rather than be honest and leave these mates that he's with, the mother of his child, rather than like risk pissing her off. They're very afraid, some of them, of these women with whom they've had children. Even when they're not in an actual relationship, it's like I can't rock the boat with her. She'll hide the kids from me, she won't let me see them, or she'll ask for more money, or whatever it is. And so they keep up these appearances and these fake lives. And for the feminine, it's been a pretty heavy deal to have to try to cope with that. And in some cases, they haven't coped with it. They've said, you know what, to heck with this, and they've moved on to other relationships. And no judgment here. And then, actually, again, I'm keeping it real. Let's to be really honest with you. Sometimes we're supposed to. We have to keep in mind that this is a journey that's full of karmic and karmic without quotes lessons. So sometimes there is another relationship that we're supposed to have in some kind of way. In my own life, I've had other love interests, people and men interested in me, that for the most part I'm the shutdown queen. Like I won't even give anybody the time of day, period. Up until last week, I hadn't given anybody my phone number in over a year. I'm like that, But at the same time, I also know that sometimes we have to at least make friendships and stuff. And people are meant to come into our life at particular times for whatever reason. So I kept seeing that a fire sign was supposed to come into my life somehow. I've allowed that. I'm not sleeping with him. I'm not anything. We just, we haven't done anything more than text. But if I was, that would be okay too. I mean, depending upon what my life is laid out to be. These sort of things that we are done in advance before we even get here. It's all mapped out, and we have to meet certain people along the way. Everybody that we meet along the way, it means something. They have, they're an intricate part in this big puzzle. So, with that said, mostly for the masculine, they too seem to welcome these karmic experiences, but not live them fully, not be true to you. Where was that card? Was that, I don't know where the be true to you card ended up. I think this one I landed on when I was shuffling. They're not always true to themselves. They live with these fake lives. And as far as the feminine, we sort of think like it has to be, all or nothing at all times. And we forget about how life actually works. I try to remind people about how how to point out how to understand the journey through movies like The Notebook, for example. And we know that couple ended up together. We know that they were meant to be together the whole time, but in the meantime, there had to be this karmic masculine male that entered the life of the female before she ended up with the divine masculine. I have clients that I mentioned the other day on my channel. They were friends and each had other relationships for the first year, at least I think, that I know them, and I believe that they knew each other. But now, I'm sure neither one of them would even look at anybody else. They're so in love. It's such a beautiful thing. But they had these other experiences in the meantime because that's the way life works and that's the way this journey works. So, all that said, I just felt that before I even got to the cards, that was going to be through what a lot of the masculine, and maybe particularly males, because their actual fathers are going to be going through. What the universe wants to help us with, but we have to first affirm, commit to. Body changes. So I definitely think that for some this is literal, and especially with it here crossing new exercise program. It's about self-care and it's about self-discipline. Universe wants to help you to lose weight if that's what you want to do. Universe wants to help you to build muscle if that's what you want to do. Universe wants to help you to, change your diet and commit to cutting out certain things or adding certain things that you need. But you are also going to have to affirm and commit. It's not going to do it for you. You're not going to just be able to rub your hands together or rub a genie bottle and it's going to happen. You're going to have to actually go to the gym. You're going to have to actually stock your refrigerator with those foods you need. You're going to have to actually throw away the stuff and stop buying the stuff that you don't need that's not good for you. You're going to have to actually join a gym or get yourself some sort of equipment or time to yourself where you can work out at home and figure out a regimen. You're going to have to commit to that, and it's going to make it, you commit to that, the universe will make it easy for it to happen and for you to continue to do it. Maintain it. And the outcome. Welcome the new. How awesome is that? Boom. Boom with the new moon. New moon, new you, new relationships. Windfall. That's definitely a windfall. I liked that. So the last reading, the full moon reading, I did a spread similar to the one I just did with this deck. And I included cards for not just the divine beings or couples, but also for the karmic relationships with which they were dealing. So why don't I do one now on this new reading, new moon reading rather, to see what's changed over the past 2 weeks and what we can expect to continue to change in terms of what new is coming over the next 2 weeks. Again, beginning with the King of Spring, who is inspiring, dramatic, ambitious, and wise. Now's your moment to step up into a leadership role. Don't back away from the spotlight, as your plans will be successful as long as you stay focused on the big picture. The King of Spring is a Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. And opening to the Four of Spring. It's time to kick back, relax, and to celebrate all that you have. Joy arises from success in your career, the completion of a project, or a very happy home life. King of Spring. The Ace of Summer. This is the beginning of a new emotional experience for you. It may be the first blush of romantic love, the rebirth of a current relationship, or the awakening of spiritual gifts and insights. The Ace of Spring is all about a brand new start. If it's a brand new start, well, you know what? It's a brand new start, but it can be a brand new start even with something that's returning or someone that's returning to your life. Because the Ace of Summer or Cups can definitely be about reconciliation, like the card with which I'm starting when I use that Oracle deck of the sigils. So yeah, some people starting anew, renewing a relationship, and some people meeting somebody brand new for the first time, or trying something or someone brand new for the first time. And for the masculine in particular, I think with this King of Spring showing up here, the King of Spring is the quintessential divine masculine of the tarot, and for a lot of them, again, I think that they're headed on a new path. King of Spring, the Four of Summer. Your responsibilities may distract you from noticing all the good that all the gifts that God is presenting to you. Be open to investigating opportunities that come your way. Four of Summer or Cups can be about like so much so not expecting anything good to come into our life that we don't notice that something does. Like we're just like, well, nothing good ever comes to me. It's like, no need for me to open my mail and answer that phone call. I'm not the one that won the Publishers Clearing. Like it's like, like nothing good ever happens to me. And when you do that, like they say, you got to be in it to win it. You're right. Nothing is going to come your way, or nothing of that nature, because you're not putting yourself out there for it to happen. This also goes toward being social and stuff. Like, if you're single and you want to meet somebody, well, you got to actually go outside, because, similarly, then, nothing's going to come if you don't put yourself out there. If you do, you might meet yourself a King of Autumn. Compassionate, accomplished, charismatic, and grounded. Everything's going to turn out great. Projects will be stunningly successful. Exciting new career opportunities are possible, and money or resources that come your way will be invested wisely. The King of Autumn is a Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. King of Autumn. And the Seven of Spring. Be assertive, believe in yourself, and don't let anyone take away your personal power. Trust that your inner guidance is true and follow it completely. King of Autumn. And lastly, Major Arcana card 2, the High Priestess. This is the time to pause and to reflect, not to take action. Trust in your spiritual gifts, as nothing is hidden from your divine intuition. The High Priestess is a Gemini, or perhaps a water sign. King of Autumn. Wow. This is the third king, like in a row. We started with the King of Fire, then the King of Autumn, and now the King of Summer. Cups. Warm-hearted, devoted, loving, and faithful, a trustworthy person or relationship enters your life. You may receive wise and compassionate advice from someone who speaks directly from the heart. So this is like all of them, like rising and awakening, right? Only ones we haven't seen so far is the King of Swords. Well, this might be one better. No King of Swords, but I got the Queen here for you. By the way, the King of Summer or Cups is a Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancer, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. And the Queen of Winter is a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. She's also experienced, self-sufficient, brilliant, and funny. All of your life experiences have prepared you for this moment of truth. It's time to declutter your home, to clear away situations that aren't working for you anymore, and to disengage from people who create more drama than happiness. So, divine being a couple, the karmic situation or relationship right now, recent past, near future. Masculine's higher self here. So this spread is primarily about the karmic situation or relationship. In some cases, it's just a situation, something through which they've been going that is a karmic lesson. For others, it is an actual romantic relationship that maybe involves some other lessons too, through which they've been going. So this is primarily for that, but I do want to look at, in connection to this karmic relationship, the status of the connection between the two divine beings, whether they've met or are single at this point, what's going on there. So this is blocks, right? The feminine, or what a feminine can do to help herself in relation to her karmic experiences, what a masculine can, or the masculine can, what the universe wants to help each person with in relation to, again, resolving those karmic lessons or issues, and the outcome for the karmic situation over this next 2 weeks, and what will be the status at the end of it, by the end of it, the 2 weeks, for the divine being a couple. The divine being a couple, boom, told you, reconciliations, reunions, and maybe those relationships that we saw, or that I saw, breaking up, are karmic ones. Because here we have positivity, whether it's a relationship or it's just something else new, some new project, some new home, some new experience. It's a blessed one, and it's going to be really, emotionally fulfilling. This is the beginning of a new emotional experience for you. It may be the first blush of romantic love, the rebirth of a current relationship, or the awakening of spiritual gifts and insights. The karmic relationship or experience. 9 of summer, you're getting your wish finally. Maybe your wish was to be done with it, to be out of something. Now's the time when your dreams come true. Don't worry about how this will happen. Just give gratitude to God for all that you have and all that's still to come. You might have felt, again, stuck in the situation. It's like, how am I going to get out? I talked about rubbing on a lamp, right? The genie's lamp. How am I going to get out of this? Or how am I going to move forward out of this situation or relationship? And that's finally coming true for you. And something new is coming. Recent past, 4 of spring. Oh, something already improved. It's time to kick back, to relax, and to celebrate all that you have. Joy arises from success in your career, the completion of a project, or a very happy home life. Some of us may have moved. Again, some of us may have moved out, on our own. Entered a new commitment or relationship. Began to work on ourselves and or our homes. This is like home, family, individual happiness, joy, commitment, contentment, whatever makes you feel good and feel secure and balanced on solid ground and footing is what this represents. So nice to see that. Near future, the Magician, Major Arcana card 1, which does also represent the sign of Gemini, and is all about manifestation. So it's not, it's cute that it's crossing the 9 of summer, because that's what it's about. Your dreams coming true, the focused intentions on which you've been concentrating, drawing them to you through the law of attraction. There is magic in the air, and you can manifest everything you need to be successful. sorry, this is the near future. Right, yeah, recent past, near future. So, yeah. Continuing to draw things to us. Masculine's higher self. 2 of summer. You're falling in love or experiencing a deepening of emotion in your current relationship. Marriages and romantic partnerships in distress can still be saved. Don't give up. So this totally matches this and this. His head is here because he's been focusing, he's been manifesting on his joy and happiness, and it's on its way to him or has recently arrived with the Ace of Summer. Blocks, for those blocked. Failure to move forward, move on, to let go. Those of us who've been content to stay put rather than to try to break free. 8 is actually the number of like karma. Have been blocked. So like the other spread, the first spread that I did, where in this placement it was like it's time to make a move. That's the same thing that this is saying. You feel that there's more to life than what you're living, so it's time to move on. You may be moving from a situation that isn't good for you, or perhaps you're being drawn to what would make you happy. Either way, you're in control. What the feminine can do to help herself, maybe specifically with regard to this and in the blocks. 7 of winter. Caution will help you to avoid the loss of valuables, including non-material resources such as time or peace of mind. Be aware of the results of your actions as well as what others might be doing behind your back. 7 of winter is a card that I call the card of joy stealing. Isn't it funny how these 2 cards are crossing? Here's the joy stealing. For some of us, this is about our own propensity to steal our own joy, to block our own blessings through fear, ego, pride, lack of esteem, lack of confidence. So there's a need to work on that. For others, this is telling you straight up, watch your stuff. Watch your stuff, watch yourself. Like there could be haters around, people that aren't really happy for you. For some, we may need to move, or we're fighting over maybe the property. I saw something like that in the weekly reading too. You know, with the wedding ring here, the key. Here's our peace in this bird's nest, peace sign sitting in here. Here's our money, coin. The 7 of winter of swords can be about actual thievery and theft and loss. So there's a need for some of us to actually just like watch our backs and watch our things, including our non-material resources like our peace of mind, our joy, our happiness, our content. If something or someone is trying to get in the way of that, including yourself, then you need to heal that, right? And get into a place where you're able to manifest joy only in your life, positivity into your life. What the masculine can do to help himself. 10 of autumn. This is all about your security, surrounding yourself with who you want to be surrounded by. So again, maybe possibly making adjustments to with whom you surround yourself, or with what you surround yourself, or where. For some people, this has to do also with, again, legacy and things like that. Contentment comes from knowing that your your finances are secure, and your family's material needs are taken care of. It's important to honor traditions and to have pride in your heritage and the accomplishments of your ancestors. And I feel this is very connected to what I was saying before. Actually, I don't even remember if I finished my sentence before when I was trying to explain about some of the stuff that I've been feeling with the masculine, what he's been going through. Because I started to hear, I have to try to, when I do this, I have to try to focus and on what I'm saying and make sure that I finish my sentence, but I'm not sure I did. I started to hear things from different angles, like tell them this, and I was just like, okay. But I do feel that there's a good bit of them, at least a good bit of those with children, that again, whether they're actually actively in these relationships with the mother of their children or not, that struggle with sort of upsetting that boat. Don't rock the boat. But that's the block. It's sitting here under this 8 of Summer and failure to move. So he's going to have to make a move. And those who don't have children, or for whom that's not their problem or situation, for some of us it's other family members and other friends that are sort of holding us in place, that we're still afraid to disrupt anything, and to bring in new energy, and maybe somebody with whom in whom we're interested that doesn't fit in with our friends and or family, or that our friends and family have given us a hard time about. They try to steal our joy. So if that's the case, there's still a move that the masculine needs to make if he wants to get here, if he wants to manifest this happiness, or continue to manifest this happiness and this new start. And this, right, the 2 of Cups energy. Outcome for the karmic situation, not very good, right? The 5 of Spring. Occasionally, you may experience clashes with others. This is, it may pop off, right? These things may come to a head. If you decide the matter is worth your energy, then do what you can to minimize the conflict without sacrificing your goals or beliefs. So that's what you're guided to do. And when the 5 of Spring for me, when it comes up more so than the 5 of Swords, let's say, the 5 of Air, Winter, is about conflict with close friends and or family. So you have that. Let's see, with the divine being or couple. Okay, we got a 5 too, but it's a far more positive one. Major Arcana card 14, Balance or Temperance. We got a 5 of Fire also, because Temperance actually represents the sign of Sagittarius in the tarot, but it's about coming together. So this one is about conflict and butting heads, right? And that's what's happening in the karmic situations or relationships. And this one is about coming together, black and white, and all things like that, just merging together, collaboration on how we can become one despite our differences. So it's a much more beautiful energy. Temperance is also a very healing energy of restoration, and where maybe we had taken a loss, or felt that we took a loss, that we were robbed, and we robbed ourselves or lost something. This is the energy of recovery and restoration and being made whole again, is what we get from Temperance. It's super, super healing. Again, Temperance does represent the sign of Sagittarius. And there's the moon here in this picture too, so I like that. That it's fire energy like Leo, fellow fire sign Leo, and there's a moon here. I didn't do what the universe wants to help us with, but we have to first affirm. Not blocking our blessings. Counting our blessings, being appreciative and manifesting more of them, right? Bringing continued opportunities toward us with the right energy. That's with what the universe wants to help us. The 4 of Summer. Your responsibilities may distract you from noticing all the gifts that God is presenting to you. Be open to investigating those opportunities that come your way. And that's what God or the universe wants to help you with. Wow. I'm looking forward to these 2 weeks. Because this energy here, this Queen of Winter, if this is what's going to be, we're going to be sort of embodying, she is the one, if anyone, who can cut off the people, places, and things that no longer serve us, and make adjustments, and add some that do, and walk towards some that do, in order to, end up with this joy. So, I'll do one more. I should have left those and laid these under them or on top of them, to see if we get the same sort of energy from this deck. But it's okay. Hopefully we'll remember the placements. Beginning with Freedom and opening right to this karmic female, feminine energy. Again, she very, very possibly a Cancer or Leo herself, or a Cancer Leo cusp. And there may be something particularly significant for Aquarians or other air signs rather too. Queen of Air. Yeah, this could be representative of Queen of Air. And actually, Aquarius would be the Queen of Air in the tarot, because the Queen is attributed in traditional practice to the fixed sign of a given element, and Aquarius is the fixed sign of the element of air. Freedom. Courting Man. Courting Man. And Work. It's a very earth sign energy for me, particularly Capricorn, but Virgo, Taurus too, and can be literal, about effort, like sort of like the Eight of Pentacles, reaping what we've sown. Courting Man. All right, there's a few things going on here. So there's obstacles, and I'd say the ability to remove them out of our own way. Soulmate. Long distance. That may be indicative of the separation. Dating Queen. Options. 3 potential suitors. Twin Flame. And Gifts. Which the Eight of Cups that we saw in the last spread and the Ace of Cups can also be about gifts, particularly spiritual gifts. And like ascension. And union. On that note, I will cut union opposite the Courting Man. And destiny. And this is what I was trying to talk about. So hopefully I did finish my sentence, or at least make sense. I was saying, like, what is meant to be will be. Sometimes things need to happen that we don't know why they need to happen. Sometimes we need to meet people that we don't know why we need to meet them. We don't know why we have to have these other experiences. But we do. So, like going back to myself, I still have the same divine masculine. We're still fine as far as I'm concerned, but I've been made to recently chat with this new friend, and that's all it's been. Like I said, it hasn't been anything sexual or whatever. He's a lot younger than me too, so I don't expect it to be that way, to go that way. But for whatever reason, that's been part of my destiny. Like I said, I saw it in my cards, even in readings that I was doing for the general public. I kept seeing this fire sign, and I'm going, who is that? It better not. I kept saying it better not be a Leo for me, because like my dad's a Leo, and I'm a Leo rising, and I know how I am with them. I kept saying it better not be. So he's not. He's an Aries. But anyway, and like I said, similarly for my friends, my clients that are now a couple, an engaged couple, with their wedding date already set for next year. That's their destiny. So it doesn't matter that in the meantime, before they made it to this point, they dated other people or whatever, or maybe had to give their number out and chat with a friend or whatever. Who cares? Because it's all coming into place still. Like what's going to be is going to be. What your soul contract says, for this lifetime, ultimately for this lifetime, what it says is what it says, is what you committed to, and that's what it's going to be. Some people believe from the time that we're born, and even our name, that like we chose it for ourselves before we got here. the ancient Egyptians believed that. I talked about that and taught that like my first year on YouTube. Maybe I'll do that again. I go over that. But even like the date of our death, and some people say how we choose. I have problems with that one, because I'm like, some of these ways of dying, like, well, I'm like, why would anybody choose to go through that? But there are people who believe that every single thing is basically mapped out before we even get here. And, I definitely believe a lot of it is. So that's the destiny. Overall energy is obstacles. So this is, again, divine being or couple, karmic relationship or situation, recent past, near future, masculine's higher self, blocks to individual or shared progress. What a feminine can do for herself with relation to her situation, karmic situation or relationship, but the masculine can help themselves. What the universe wants to help us both or each with, but we have to first affirm, commit to ourselves. And the outcome for this karmic relationship or situation. And, for the divine one, we got 2 cards here. Again, the overall energy is obstacles. Divine being or couple, work. For some of us, this is connected somehow to retrograde, and the first one that popped into my head was Pluto, which is retrograde in Capricorn. Saturn is retrograde in Capricorn too, but Pluto is the one that popped into my head. Pluto deals with things that are hidden, like our secrets, our past, a lot of the past, and so we may be working on some of those issues as individuals, getting back to the self-love, self-care, self-discipline stuff that's been going on, that theme. For others, again, this is reaping what we've sown. This is very 8 of Pentacles, putting in effort, and then getting an outcome back. The karmic situation, boom. Okay, I told you, breaking away from these things. Freedom from that, I'm off that. I'm off that and moving on to something else. Very Queen of Air, very Aquarius. Recent past. Travel. This too, for some, can have to do with the retrogrades, right? And this, revisiting situations from our past. For some, it could be literal. There could be, again, moving, like I saw on the other spread and talked about. This travel card is very much like the Chariot for me in the traditional tarot. So it's about movement, it's about moving, it's about modes of transportation, it's about victory, accomplishment, visiting one another. Maybe you saw somebody recently and that sparked something. Could have moved away and that's why you're free. Or travel by yourself. Near future. Past love. Could mean a lot of things. For some, this could be like, again, getting back together with a past love, or dealing with the after effects of freeing yourself from one, with them crossing here in particular. Masculine's higher self. It is blonde female, which is actually a redhead. And in this deck, this is a representation of the divine feminine for me. So this is very, like if I had left the other cards here and I topped the Two of Cups with my representation of the divine feminine, to me that's a perfect match. This is where his head is at again. So we're seeing that reconfirmed. Block. So in the last spread, the block was the inability to move, or refusal to move, which we have that here in the recent past, that's coming up as an issue potentially with travel. So under here it is. Ooh, okay. Maybe we felt that we lacked control. We lacked the ability to move. Somebody else had the range or something. We weren't free. This has been blocks. Ice King. Mercury retrograde also could be represented by this. That's been a block for us. It's caused us delays. It's caused us the inability to travel, right? Communication's been messed up. Travel's been messed up. Transportation's been messed up. Electronics, so we haven't been able to get ourselves together. All those things are possible, and especially now that recently, in the recent past, yes, the Mercury retrograde did move into Cancer. Like I said, this is very Chariot for me. The Chariot and the Tower represents the sign of Cancer. It had been in Leo. Mercury retrograde had been in Leo and moved there. So I think this is about, control and stuff. We weren't being the masters of our own destiny. And so that's been the block. Ice King can also represent particular signs. Again, this can be like a Mercurian energy, and therefore connected to certainly Gemini, perhaps Virgo as well. With it being the Ice King, the other air signs come into play. Aquarius, Libra. The sky can also be very Martian for me, ruler of the sign of Aries, as well as the sign of Scorpio. And then fellow fire sign to Aries here is, of course, the lion, Leo the lion. For some, this can also be, something like I said, maybe an Aries, or a Scorpio, or a Leo, or an air sign has been like, an actual literal block. Maybe that they came into your life or had been in your life as a karmic situation, and so that's been in the way. But what the feminine can do to help herself, she's got some karmic feminine stuff going on too. So whether this is representing her and saying like, get yourself together as far as a karmic, or this is representing a karmic feminine in her life, whether it's an actual person and further to that an actual female, or just an energy, because it could be like some Black Moon Lilith stuff going on with the last moon that we had, the full moon in Capricorn. I talked about on that same day. It was a black moon also, Black Moon Lilith in Pisces. So there could be some things that she's dealing with as a result of that. Any relationships that we entered, during Mercury retrograde are not going to last. They're not expected to last. They're sort of doomed to fail. So, that may be why we're seeing the breakups, or why I saw the breakups coming too. What the masculine do to help himself, new love, which goes very well with all his previous cards in this spread and the previous spreads. And this is just like forward movement and thinking in terms of love. Whether it's with the same person, again, it's something renewed or unnew, or it's a brand new situation for him. What the universe would like to help us each or both with, but we have to first affirm. It is Beauty Queen. This is confidence. This is fiery. This is Venus and Leo, where she entered this week. Beauty Queen. Venus actually rules beauty, abundance, love, confidence, like all of these things, everything that's awesome is connected to her. And so that's what she wants to help us with here. And I think this is for masculine and feminine. And when you're feeling that way about yourself, and the self-love and self-care is coming back here with this, and also even beautification may have to do with the exercise program, the dietary program. This is all the stuff that the universe wants to help us with. When we do that, we are taking back control of our lives. So we're defeating this energy here. Outcome for the karmic situation or relationship. Young female. So it's a very, this is representative of karmic and karma. It's something that comes in courtesy of Jupiter. This young female tends to represent the sign of Sagittarius for me most specifically, which is ruled by Jupiter, the planet of karma, of growth and expansion. So something does come in that helps us to, I guess, again, move in whatever direction we feel is right in terms of resolving, completing this karma, or, healing it. And, very interesting. Okay. For the divine being or couple, there's a choice. Maybe we have to, similar to like this card here for the feminine, we've got to decide like where we're at, what we want, what we're doing, and take back control of our lives, be this beauty queen, this confidence and stuff, and or cut the cords to somebody else who's been a manipulating us, or that we've been manipulating. If we've been the manipulator, we still got to cut that out, or we got to choose. We got a choice ahead, involving some sort of party of 3. Very interesting. Maybe I'll just do advice now. And we'll see how that was, how this reading goes with the iPhone. I decided to do it today, like a day early, because I've learned already how long it takes for these things to upload from the iPhone. So, first card of advice to the masculine. Motivation. Something is going to spark this change in you, which I think is awesome. Well, the moon is. The new moon in Leo is. It's going to, get your passions burning and make you feel like that powerful leader in your own very masculine element that you are. For the feminine, retirement. This is, and letting something old go, hanging up the old jersey, being done with, whatever it is that we're motivated to let go of, that does not work for us anymore, and moving on to the next thing, the new thing, which is pretty awesome. From the animal tarot to the masculine, the king of autumn, abundance, windfall coming in for you. I like this. The king of autumn is compassionate, accomplished, charismatic, and grounded. Everything's going to turn out great. Projects will be stunningly successful. Exciting new career opportunities are possible. And money or resources that come your way will be invested wisely. King of Autumn, again, a Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. That may be someone coming into your life. Somebody may be particularly generous with you and to help you. That may be a motivation. Somebody may make you some sort of offer for a new opportunity, a new job, a new place to live, whatever, and that may be, the motivating factor for you too. Feminine. Ace of Winter. Implementation of your brilliant new idea may get off to a rocky start, but keep going. The challenges will help you to refine your plan and to reshape your goals into something even better. Ace of Winter is victory, is triumph, is truth, is clarity, right? But often, like on the heels of what had been difficult. It's like climbing a mountain and getting to the top until you're triumphant, but it wasn't easy climbing the mountain, So it's not like the Ace of Cups or the Ace of Pentacles, and that it's just something that's bestowed upon you. No, this Ace of Swords requires work, but that's what makes it such a card of victory. So you should be proud of yourself with that new beginning. Oh, masculine, young male. For some, again, this has to do with perhaps a family, a child, and what you're doing, changes you're making in your life that will affect you as a parent. For others, this is actually you lightening your load, so to speak, recapturing your youthful energy and living life and having a good time, enjoying, you know, shedding sort of old dead energy that was holding you back. When we ascend, we become more spiritual, we become more tuned with more in tune with ourselves, self-aware, conscious. It makes you feel lighter, youthful, energized. And so that's what this is too. For the feminine, gifts. I'm talking about ascension. This is another case with it too. Gifts. Just improved awareness. It'll help you to make that choice too, where we do have to make a choice. And not everybody that has that party of three is a romantic, is having to deal with a romantic choice and to choose between two love interests. That's not the case. It represents a something that is sort of in the way, and you have to choose. Not necessarily, a romantic love or even another person. It's a third energy that is taking up space and time that you need to choose. What am I going to do about this? And from the Siggles deck, the Heart Siggles, to the masculine, it is Gabriel and Bliss. And to the feminine, Metatron and Charisma. That sounds a lot like Beauty Queen. What did I do with the booklets? Am I not meant to read the booklet? Oh, here it is. I put another box of cards on top of it. Oh, goodness. Of course, I'm not ready. And I'm not even turning directly to where I need to be. Charisma. I don't understand the order of this book. It just seems to be kind of random. First at the top, it says Metatron, the supernal, supernal, teacher. Metatron is also the archangel of light bringers, light workers. Metatron conjures you a powerful teaching evoked by the heart sigil essence of this card. This asks you to contemplate the divinely conferred talent that Mother Teresa possessed. People who met her suggested that they saw a divine illumination all around her, a clear sign of charisma. This is a gift of grace. Bestowed on an individual as a compelling charm and eliciting devotion from all who behold them. The root of the word is suffused with charity and indicates that those who possess charisma are beings of heartfelt generosity. Therefore, review how your own circumstances may need greater clarity. In relation to your own generosity of spirit, or indeed how you are undervaluing the peaceful heart radiation of your own aura and the effect it has on other people. The heart, when charged with love, has an energy field 5,000 times greater than the human brain. Chant Ha from your heart chakra, the Anahata, to fuel your conviction of the divine. And for the feminine, and for the masculine rather, bliss. Gabriel's heart brings you abiding bliss for this sacred moment in your life and reminds you of that exquisite part of you that is overshadowed by the love of the Hindu faith's Lord Krishna, the embodied and complete avatar of the preserver God Vishnu. To honor this divine process, design a celebration that will consecrate this wonderful moment of supreme happiness with the refined gratitude that brings even more bliss. Pledge thanks to all that is wonderful about your life. Gratitude is the basis for applying the law of attraction in your life. So say a prayer to Lord Krishna or to the great angels of Atlantis, and especially to Archangel Gabriel, and messages of bliss will wing their way to you and all your dear ones. Gaze on the sigil and feel the power of Gabriel entering your heart in order to let bliss glow. Chant Ah to warm this vibration through your heart chakra, the delicate Anahata. I think it's pretty cool that both of us got a card that was tied to the heart chakra, because not all of them are. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed the reading. I also thought it was pretty cool that the masculine's card talked about not only what he has here, the other cards that he has here, but about celebrating joy and being expressing gratitude, right? Being thankful, so not being in that Four of Cups kind of energy that we saw pop up during the reading. So I'm really happy with the way that this turned out. I hope that you guys have enjoyed it too. Thank you again for joining, liking, sharing, and subscribing, for being here with me. And I look forward to seeing a bunch of you on the premiere tomorrow. I'll try to schedule it way in advance. I'll try to post that I've scheduled it from sometime tomorrow in the daytime, so like tomorrow night, tomorrow evening, we can watch it together. Yeah, let's do that. Thanks again. Namaste, guys.